Hello everyone, it's Nicholas. Last time, I started telling you about my first trip to Russia. Today, I will continue telling that story, as well as telling you about the time I spent back home in Canada before I made the decision to return to Russia.
По Петрограду, закат над Балтикой горит, за баррикадой баррикаду проходит с пропуском Джон Рид.
After celebrating the New Year, Lena and I would travel to Saint Petersburg, or as it was once known, Leningrad. We stayed on Nevsky Prospect. The temperatures were reaching -20, though it was undeniably mystical and beautiful in winter. I had always dreamt of seeing the Winter Palace and the famous Hermitage Museum. The film Russian Ark mythologized the experience for me, as well as John Reed's book, 10 Days That Shook the World, his first-hand account of the Russian Revolution. Petrograd, as it was called at the time, was the epicenter of the revolution. During my time in the city, I was able to see the battleship Aurora, as well as visit the Rasputin Cafe. Not long after, I visited a Orthodox Christmas Mass at the Kazan Cathedral. However, most of my time was spent wandering the Hermitage, getting lost in the history and art of Great Russia. To finish off the trip, I visited the Lomonosov nightclub. Dancing in that post-Soviet nightclub, so far from home, in the city of Saint Petersburg, I realized that no goal was too big to overcome, that with determination and passion, I could achieve anything. Soon after, we returned to Moscow, deciding to visit some last-minute items on my list before I was marked to return home to Canada. But nothing was as special as seeing Red Square on that bright and vibrant winter day. My dream adventure had come into fruition. Not only seeing the great cities of Egypt, nor the historic city of Kars in Turkey, but Russia itself, Moscow and St. Petersburg. During a time of historical turmoil, visiting Russia at this time was something I was incredibly proud of. With that confidence, I returned home to Canada. Saying goodbye to Lena was incredibly difficult, but I knew that our creative passions would continue to bring us together. Back home in Canada, I returned to a very different country than the one I had left. The cost of living crisis had reached unsustainable levels, and I knew that it was only bound to worsen in the years to come. Despite that, I endeavored with my goals, working on my degree in international relations, studying Russian, writing my novel, and also searching for opportunities abroad as an English teacher. Though most importantly, I was inspired by what I had seen abroad and used that inspiration to write new pages of Stars of the Allmaker. I also managed to send my writing partner, Griffin, a gift I had collected in Egypt, a sculpture of an owl, the bird of wisdom, a symbolic ode of what was to come in 2023. After returning home, I was also caught between two worlds, not Russia and Canada, but my intellectual versus creative side. Part of me wanted to completely focus on my writing, while another wanted to devote myself completely to Russian immersion. I knew in the end that a balance between my two passions was needed, as they did complement each other in many ways. My time abroad taught me many things, but the most important thing I learned was that I couldn't be away from my writing. I continued with my goals in 2023, though it was difficult being away from Lena, as well as leaving Russia to only come home to an economically devastated Canada. But I didn't let any of that slow me down. I was able to write amazing pages of Stars of the Allmaker, and was even able to find an online internship with a Russian TEFL company. As I embarked on my internship, I knew that a palate cleanser was needed, a soft reset before I returned to my ambitious goals, and so I decided to pay a visit to Portland, Oregon, the hometown of John Reed. A mudslide stopped my train, forcing me to have a stop in Seattle. where I ate delicious Tsar dumplings and visited the famed Lenin statue of Seattle. So this is the well-known Lenin statue of Seattle. It was originally built by a Bulgarian sculptor and was on display in Czechoslovakia. But after the dissolution of the Eastern Bloc, it was bought by an American businessman and has been on display here ever since. I bought a book of Russian poetry and even discovered the Troll of Fremont. A keeper of sorts stood at the troll, a guardian. He took my picture, and so I blessed him with some US dollar. In exchange, he wished me well in my plans to return to Russia. Soon after, I took a bus down to Portland. The first item on my to-do list was find the memorial bench to John Reed, located in Washington Park. I had an amazing time in Portland, from drinking horseradish vodka at Kachka, seeing elephants and polar bears at Oregon Zoo, or visiting the Banff Film Festival at Revolution Hall. Each film reaffirmed this message: follow your passions. After visiting the Powell City of Books and walking through the Museum of Arts, I knew that it was time to return to Canada. My goals were waiting for me. I knew it was only a matter of time until I returned to Russia. Join me next time where I tell you that story. Thank you for watching.